can't believe we got all this for $1.50.
About time you two got back.
Hey, Earl, you're just not going to believe all the doodads and knickknacks they were just throwing away at the old Hotel Laredo.
Show them everything we got, Flo.
Look at this, Earl.
Is that a doodad or a knick-knack?
It's a doily.
Well, what a break. About 10 minutes ago, a couple truck drivers came in here and ordered a pitcher of beer and a doily.
We are trying to make this place homey. Just because you use your saddle for a pillow doesn't mean we all do.
How do you know he does that?
Just a shot in the dark, Miriam. Hey, Earl, I even bought something for you. Isn't that cute?
It's absolutely darling. What the hell am I supposed to do with it?
Oh, well, when the place gets crowded, Flo can get your attention.
Yeah, that's right, Earl. See, I ring the bell and you draw a beer. I ring the bell and you draw a beer. I ring the bell.
And I wring your neck. All this stuff is just a bunch of junk, Flo.
Earl, it is not junk. We only got things we really need.
Flo, where do you want the stuffed owl?
Oh, thank you, Les. I think on the bar would be nice.
And for Pete's sake, put a doily under it.
Well, Earl, I got him because he reminds me of somebody here at the Yellow Rose.
Who?
Gotcha, Tucker.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Miss Flo Castleberry.
You're looking at her, mister?
Oh, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Arthur S. Ogilvy of Ogilvy and Sons. We're morticians. You're home away from home.
No, thank you. What can we do for you, Mr. Ogilvy?
Well, I'm afraid I have some rather sad news. Mr. Edward T. Whitlock has passed away.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
That's awful.
I'm so sorry.
Who is Edward T. Whitlock?
Do we know who that is?
I don't know.
I believe you knew him as Shorty.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
That's awful.
I'm so sorry.
Poor old Shorty.
Oh, I'm gonna miss him. Sitting over there in his favorite chair, tipped back, guzzling his favorite drink, beer and Bosco.
Well, at least we know the cause of death.
Mr. Whitlock, the late Shorty, left a last will and testament. We found it among his effects in his room at the Cowtown Arms, in which he states that you promised that he could have his funeral service right here.
What? At the Yellow Rose? I don't remember anything like that.
Shorty did. It was virtually his last thought. As a matter of fact, in the final word, rose, the E just sort of trails off the paper.
Oh, well, I guess.
I think we got ourselves a funeral.
Well, I guess I promised, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Rowdy redhead heading for the big time, looking like a Texas sequin star, making eyes at every tight jeaned cowboy, sassing good old boys around the bar. Flo's Yellow Rose, flashing neon every trucker knows. The door is always open and the beer is always cold at Flo's Yellow Rose. Flo's Yellow Rose.
Well, Mama, look at that.
Here you are, Mama.
Thanks. Hey, look at this. Here's Shorty's birth certificate. Edward Taylor Whitlock, born June 9th, 1893, at Duncan, Kansas. That's awful.
Well, what's so awful? The man was 87. He had a pretty good ride.
No, what I mean is, I hope when I die, a bunch of people don't stand around and stare at my birth certificate. Makes my blood run cold.
Flo, that's foolish. You'll never know.
I'll know. And when that time comes, I want you to promise me 2 things. Burn my birth certificate and touch up my roots.
I'll take care of it for you.
Mama, Fran, look at this.
What is it?
Whatever it is, it's probably full of germs.
It's a clipping from the Clarion Bugle dated January 25th, 1919. Oakdale renamed Cowtown thanks to misdirected cattle drive. Just 1 year ago today, Mr. Edward Wrong Way Whitlock mistakenly drove 3,000 head of longhorn cattle south on the Chisholm Trail instead of north, thereby turning our sleepy village into the state's newest livestock terminal. Well, I'll be switched. Oh, Shorty was practically a founding father.
And to think an historical figure like that wound up destitute at Flo's Yellow Rose.
Talk about hitting the skids. You know, folks ought to know about Shorty. He ought to have a big marble tombstone and a grave plot with a view and maybe even a statue in the park the way a real hero would. I'm going to call the newspaper and KCAL radio. Shorty Whitlock's going to have the funeral of his life.
Well, I'll be dipped. Old Shorty was a fellow cowboy.
Just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover.
I'm sure glad I talked you into having the funeral here, Flo.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Earl.
Every cowboy deserves to be buried with his boots on.
He never wore boots. All I ever saw him in was that baseball cap and old sweatshirt and sneakers.
Sneakers? That man was a trail boss. Just think of it, old Shorty going to meet his maker dressed like a sissy tennis player.
It's interesting. When you see an old face, you never think who the person behind it is or what he's accomplished. You just see an old face.
Well, people are going to know what Shorty accomplished. The whole story's going to be in the afternoon paper. And tonight on KCAL Radio, they're doing a special on Shorty. It's going to be called Wrong Way Ed, Dead.
Now, you just let me do the talking, Your Honor. I got a lot of juice here.
I'll leave it to you, Farley.
Hey, everybody!
Oh, boy.
You all know the Right Honorable Millard Bascom, our beloved mayor.
Hi, everybody. Lord, Farley, I'd get more juice than that out of a brick.
Get out of my way, boy.
Miss Castleberry, we down at City Hall agree with you in full that Ed Whitlock deserves all the recognition and honor that our town can give him, including a statue in Blue Jay Park.
Oh, a statue for Shorty! Hey, Earl, draw one for the mayor.
Good grief! That owl looks just like the one in the coffee shop at the Hotel Laredo.
Well, it is, Farley. I brought it here because it reminds me of somebody.
Oh, yeah? Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you. Miss Castleberry, it should please you to know that we have selected a prime grave site on Reflection Hill. And the city council has unanimously proclaimed that he'll receive a full dress funeral service down at City Hall.
Oh, at City Hall? Oh, well, that's terrific.
You're gonna love it, Flo. We got a real authentic buckboard funeral wagon, escorted by a riderless black horse, with me and His Honor sitting up front there just a-waving to the voters.
Mourners, Farley, mourners.
Oh, I see. That's just your style, Farley Waters. You two are using a dead man to dig up votes.
Yeah, but it'll be a banner day.
That is not what Shorty wanted. He wanted to have his funeral right here at the Yellow Rose.
Miss Castleberry, let's be sensible. Respectable people want to come to the funeral. Now, they cannot be expected to come to a saloon, especially one on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh, is that so, Mr. Mayor? Well, a lot of respectable people seem to find their way to the Yellow Rose.
Well, hearsay, it's speculation.
Oh, is that right? Earl, could we have those bar tabs, please?
Sure enough. Assistant Fire Chief Davidson, $20. Councilman Sherwood, $27. Ruby Bates, $23.
You can erase Ruby Bates, Earl. Councilman Sherwood is paying hers.
Farley Waters, $8.
It's Earl.
I think that pretty well settles it, gentlemen. The funeral's going to be here, and that's all there is to it.
Well, you can't do that. We voted. We hired a band. We built bleachers. We have bunting.
We have doilies.
What did he say?
You heard him. Now, if you want to be around for Shorty's send-off, fine. You just get your bunting in here tomorrow morning at noon. The funeral is at the Yellow Rose.
Flo, I can't believe that you got the mayor and everybody down here to Flo's Yellow Rose for Shorty's funeral.
Well, you know what they say down at City Hall, Miriam. You can't fight Flo Castleberry.
Kid, you're too much.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we begin? At this time, I would like to introduce one of Mr. Whitlock's closest and dearest friends, Mr. Farley Waters.
Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Well, now, I guess I know everybody here, and everybody here knows me. Okay, I was real shocked and dismayed to hear about the passing of my longtime friend, Ed Wrong Way Whitman.
Whitlock.
Well, whatever. Now, we all know in his lifetime, Wrong Way was the butt of some of the cruelest jokes you can possibly imagine. Awful, awful jokes. Jokes like, how many Ed Whitlocks does it take to pop popcorn? 11. 1 to hold the pan and 10 to shake the stove. Or how many Ed Whitlocks does it take to milk a cow? Yeah. 3. 1 to do this and 2 to move the cow up and down. Now, that is just a sample of some of the disgusting attempts at humor that are all chronicled in the Ed Whitlock story.
Farley.
Free from Waters Press with the minimum deposit at my bank.
Thank you, Farley.
Yeah, but there's more.
You want to bet? Since Farley was such a close personal friend of Shorty's, he's promised to send Shorty to his final reward in a brand new pair of boots.
Thank you. Thank you, my fellow Cowtownians. I cannot think of a better place for Ed Whitlock's funeral than Flo's Yellow Rose. Because Wrong Way was a man of the people, the Yellow Rose people, my people, the people who started this town, made it grow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We always knew he was a wrong way kind of guy, didn't we? All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Reverend Dickinson, I'm sure you must have a few words that would fit this occasion.
Certainly, my dear. Certainly. Certainly. Friends, we are gathered here to pay loving tribute to the memory of a man, Edward Wrong Way Whitlock. Now, one may ask, why has he been plucked from us at this time? To that, I can only say, I do not know. We may never know. Then again, perhaps someday we will know. But for just now, we don't know if we'll ever know. However, if someday we do know, will we know all there is to know? I say yes. Then again, what do I know? Thank you.
Oh, that was every bit as inspiring as his Sunday sermons.
Fran, that was his Sunday sermon.
Thank you, Reverend Dickinson, for those words of wisdom. But you know what Shorty really wanted? What he wanted was a knock-down, drag-out party. So, Earl, break out the beer. It's all on Shorty. Here for a minute. Now, I think it's time to have some toasts to old Shorty.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's to you, wrong way. And when you get on that road to heaven, for gosh sakes, read the road sign. Okay, how about you, Miriam?
Well, I guess I can tell you all now that Shorty once asked me to go for a moonlight ride up to Indian Ridge.
Oh, well.
I'm sure he didn't mean anything naughty by it. Shorty, I'm sorry I told you to buzz off.
Okay, Earl, let's hear from you.
Well, I owe Shorty a lot. As a matter of fact, I owe him $5. Now, he never did bug me about paying it back, and now I know why. He dropped dead.
Oh.
Adios, Cowpoco Mordo.
Adios, Earl.
Okay, Randy, how about you?
Well, Shorty was one of the smartest guys I ever met. He had all these great ideas he didn't even bother to write down. Ideas like disposable teeth, folding cookies. In his biggest brainstorm, clothes made out of meat. Well, Shorty was way ahead of his time.
Yeah, well, thank you, Randy. Thank you very much. Okay, Les, how about you?
Well, Shorty always believed there was life after death. He said, it only stands to reason. He didn't elaborate. Now, I'd like to toast Shorty with his favorite song.
Tell me when you will be mine. Tell me quanto, quanto, quanto. We can share a love divine. Tell me quanto, quanto, quanto. Have another beer right now. Here comes Shorty, Shorty, Shorty. He's the man who led the cow out. That's our Shorty, Shorty, Shorty.
I guess it's time for Shorty's big parade. If you'll excuse us, the Yellow Rose family would like to spend a few moments alone with our old pal. So thank you all for coming. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Dickinson.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.
Oh, brace up, Farley. You barely knew the man.
Oh, it isn't that, Your Honor, but do you have any idea what boots cost these days? And where's he gonna wear them?
Come on, Mama. We don't want to lose our places in the funeral car.
Okay. But this time I get the big seat, you ride backwards.
Tell me quando.
Well, now that we've given old Shorty the funeral that he wanted, I have something to tell you. So, hold on to your hats. The man in this box is not Ed Whitlock.
What?
That's not true, Flo. I'd know that baseball cap anywhere. That's Shorty.
No, you see, Shorty was not Ed Whitlock. I know. Everybody, this is Ida Mae Stone. Now, a long time ago, she was the real Ed Whitlock's girlfriend. Ida Mae, tell him just what you told me.
You see, all their lives, Shorty and Ed were real close friends. They even worked together on that big cattle drive. Ed was trail boss and Shorty was cook. A few years after they settled in Cowtown, Ed was sick of those wrong-way jokes, so he up and headed west for California. Later, I got the news he died a forgotten man in Philadelphia.
Now, you see, that box of junk that Mr. Ogilvy found in Shorty's room really belonged to Wrongway, not Shorty. So, Mr. Ogilvy thought that Shorty was Wrongway.
But he was wrong.
Right.
Looks like old Wrong Way finally had his day.
The wrong way, of course.
Now, I have a letter here that I found in a box of Shorty's junk. I saved it to read until now. Dear Flo and everybody at the Yellow Rose, by the time you read this, I'll be floating on a cloud, sipping a long, tall beer and Bosco. That is, if there's life after death. There ought to be. It only stands to reason. Even if there ain't, that's okay, too, because I had a pretty good life before death. It was long, anyway. And the best days were spent there with you people at the Rose. I know I yacked a lot and stuck my nose in people's business. So thanks for not saying so too often and throwing me out on my rusty-dusty. Putting up with an old coot like me means you're good people. I hope I maybe left a little bit of something behind in each and every one of you, 'cause in that way, a fella lives forever. That's another theory of mine. Les will explain it to you. Love to all, Shorty.
There's too many people in here kicking up the dust.
Okay, Mr. Ogilvy, we're ready now. So long, Shorty. Hey, that sounds like my... Hey.
Keep her moving, boys.
That's my bell.
Keep her moving, boys.
What happened to my owl?
I saw somebody swiping.
Who?
Gotcha.
Oh.